There is more inside you than you realize, more talent, more capability, more strength. But for most people, that potential stays locked inside. It never gets fully developed. It never gets fully expressed. It never reaches its peak. Not because people aren't capable, not because they lack intelligence or drive or ambition, but because they never learn how to unleash what is already inside them. They never tap into their full power. Most people operate at a fraction of what they're capable of. They settle for good enough. They limit themselves to what feels safe, what feels comfortable, what feels easy. And because of that, their potential stays buried. Their dreams stay small. Their abilities stay underdeveloped. But here's the truth. You are not built to be average. You are not designed to live beneath your capabilities. You are meant to grow, to evolve, to push boundaries, to see what you are truly capable of becoming. And the only thing standing between you and your highest potential, it's not external circumstances. It's not your past. It's not luck. It is your own mind, your own beliefs, your own limitations that you have accepted as reality. Because potential is not something that is given to you. It is something you develop, something you unlock. It is already inside you. You just have to learn how to release it. The problem is most people don't even realize they are trapped. They have settled into patterns, habits, and routines that keep them operating at a lower level than they are capable of. And over time, they start believing that this is all there is. But once you break free, once you learn how to tap into your full capacity, you become unstoppable. You stop playing small. You stop holding back. You stop making excuses for why you can't be, do, or have more. And everything in your life begins to change. Not because the world changes, but because you change. Your standards change. Your confidence changes. Your ability to execute changes. You stop operating from limitation and start operating from possibility. Because here's what you have to understand. The gap between where you are now and your highest potential is not as big as you think. It is not some impossible distance that takes years to cross. The only thing keeping you stuck is the way you see yourself, the way you think about your abilities, the way you limit your own belief in what's possible. And the moment you change that, the moment you decide to push past those limits, the moment you stop accepting mediocrity, the moment you demand more from yourself, everything begins to shift. So if you are ready, if you are done waiting, if you are done holding yourself back, if you are done settling for less than what you are capable of, then it is time. It is time to step into your power. It is time to break through every internal barrier that has kept you playing small. It is time to unleash the full force of what you are capable of. Because once you do, nothing can stop you. Unleashing your potential begins with one thing: awareness. You cannot change what you do not see. You cannot break free from limitations you do not acknowledge. And you cannot step into your power if you don't even realize you're holding yourself back. Most people are not limited by their ability. They are limited by their perception of their ability. They assume that the way they have always been is the way they will always be. They assume that if they have struggled in the past, they will struggle in the future. They assume that their weaknesses are permanent. And because they believe these things, they act in ways that reinforce them. But the truth is, none of those limitations are real. They are nothing more than a mental cage, one that has been built over years of conditioning. From the moment you were born, you have been programmed with ideas about what you can and cannot do. Some of that programming came from parents, from teachers, from the environment you grew up in. Some of it came from your own experiences, your own mistakes, your own fears. And over time, those ideas hardened into beliefs. Beliefs about who you are, beliefs about what you deserve, beliefs about what is possible for you. And those beliefs became the foundation of every decision you make. If you believe you are capable, you take action. If you believe you are limited, you hesitate. If you believe you are destined for success, you keep pushing forward. If you believe you are doomed to struggle, you sabotage yourself before you even start. The most dangerous limitations are not the ones the world puts on you. The most dangerous limitations are the ones you accept as truth. Because once you accept a limitation, you stop questioning it. You stop testing it. You stop pushing beyond it. And when you do this, you make it real. But the moment you realize that every belief you hold is just a story, just a piece of programming, you gain power. Because stories can be rewritten, programming can be updated, and limitations can be destroyed. The first step to unleashing your potential is identifying the stories that are holding you back. What are the things you tell yourself about why you are not where you want to be? What are the excuses that play in your mind when you think about pushing yourself further? What are the fears that whisper to you every time you consider stepping outside your comfort zone? Because those thoughts, those stories, are not just thoughts. They are instructions. They are commands you are giving to your subconscious mind. And your subconscious mind does not question. It does not analyze. It simply follows the programming it has been given. If you keep telling yourself, "I'm not good enough," your subconscious mind will make sure you never feel good enough. If you keep telling yourself, "I don't have what it takes," your subconscious mind will find ways to prove that true. But if you start feeding your mind different instructions, everything changes. If you tell yourself, "I am powerful," your subconscious mind will start looking for proof of that. If you tell yourself, "I can learn anything," your subconscious will start adapting to that belief. If you tell yourself, "I will figure it out," you will start seeing opportunities instead of obstacles. The words you say to yourself are not just words. They are shaping your reality. They are determining how much of your potential you allow yourself to access. They are the difference between staying stuck and breaking free. And this is why awareness is the first step. You have to catch yourself in the moment. You have to notice when your mind starts feeding you a limitation. You have to stop and say, "That is just a story. That is just an old belief. That is not who I am." And then you have to replace it. Because your mind is like a garden. If you do not plant the right seeds, weeds will grow by default. And most people's minds are filled with weeds, filled with old, outdated beliefs that are keeping them small. But here's the good news. Just as easily as those weeds grew, they can be pulled out. Just as easily as those limiting beliefs were programmed into you, they can be unprogrammed. And just as easily as you once told yourself that you were not enough, you can start telling yourself a new story. Because the only thing standing between you and your greatest potential is the belief that something is standing in your way. The moment you let that belief go, the moment you stop waiting, stop hesitating, stop making excuses, you unlock a level of power that most people never experience. Because your potential is not something that is given to you. It is something that is already inside you. And the only thing that determines how much of it you access is how much of it you allow yourself to believe in. Awareness is the first step, but awareness alone is not enough. You can see your limits, you can recognize your excuses, you can even identify the patterns that have been holding you back. But unless you take action, nothing changes. Action is the bridge between potential and reality. You can have all the ability in the world, all the intelligence, all the talent, but if you do not take action, none of it matters. Most people wait to take action. They wait until they feel ready. They wait until the fear goes away. They wait until the perfect moment arrives. But here's the truth. The perfect moment never comes. The fear never completely disappears. The feeling of being ready never arrives. Because growth is uncomfortable. It will always feel uncertain. It will always require a step into the unknown. And if you wait for that feeling of certainty, you will never take the first step. Action does not follow confidence. Confidence follows action. You do not become confident by sitting and thinking. You do not become fearless by waiting. You become confident by doing. You become fearless by moving forward despite the fear. And this is where most people fail. They think they need motivation. They think they need inspiration. But motivation is unreliable. Inspiration is fleeting. The people who unleash their full potential are not the ones who rely on motivation. They are the ones who rely on discipline. Because discipline means taking action no matter how you feel. It means showing up when you are tired. It means doing the work when you don't feel like it. It means pushing forward when every part of you wants to stop. And here's what happens when you do that. You build momentum, and momentum is powerful. Because once you start moving, everything gets easier. Once you take that first step, the second step is not as hard. Once you break through resistance, you start to see progress, and progress creates motivation. But if you never start, if you hesitate, if you delay, if you keep waiting, you never build that momentum. And the longer you wait, the harder it becomes. Because inaction creates its own momentum, and hesitation turns into habit. So the question is, what are you waiting for? What action have you been avoiding? What step have you been hesitating to take? What challenge have you been putting off? Because nothing will change until you move. Nothing will improve until you decide. Nothing will happen until you step forward. Even if you don't feel ready, even if you don't have all the answers, even if you don't know exactly how things will unfold. Because clarity comes from movement. Confidence comes from doing. Growth comes from experience. And every time you hesitate, you delay your own progress. Taking action means taking responsibility. Because most people blame their circumstances. They blame their past. They blame the economy, their upbringing, their environment. And as long as they blame something outside of themselves, they give away their power. But the moment you take full responsibility for your life, everything changes. Because if you created the results you have now, you can create new ones. If your past choices led you here, your future choices can take you somewhere else. And if you have the power to create change, then nothing is stopping you. But responsibility means no more excuses, no more blaming, no more waiting for someone to come save you. It means looking in the mirror and saying, if I want something different, I have to do something different. And that means stepping up. It means making decisions, not just wishing for things to be better. It means committing, not just hoping that things work out. It means taking full ownership of your time, your energy, your results, because no one else is going to do it for you. The moment you stop waiting is the moment you take back control. The moment you stop blaming is the moment you start creating. The moment you stop making excuses is the moment you start building momentum. And the longer you wait to take that step, the longer you delay your own potential. You were not designed to sit on the sidelines, watching other people succeed. You were meant to be in the game. You were meant to be the one creating, leading, achieving. So what is stopping you? What fear is holding you back? What belief is keeping you stuck? And more importantly, when will you decide that enough is enough? Because once you make that decision, once you commit fully, once you take action, once you stop holding back, you will start to see what you are truly capable of. You will begin to realize that your limits were never real. You will begin to understand that your potential is far greater than anything you ever imagined. Taking action is essential, but taking the right action is what leads to extraordinary success. Because not all effort is equal. Not all hard work moves you forward. Some people work tirelessly and yet stay stuck in the same place. Some people put in massive amounts of effort but never see results. and that's because they are not being strategic. Most people mistake busyness for progress. They confuse movement with achievement. They spend their days responding to distractions, handling low-value tasks, and doing things that feel productive, but do not actually move them forward. They check things off a to-do list, but at the end of the day, they are no closer to unleashing their full potential. But the people who achieve at the highest level, they are ruthless with their focus. They do not waste time on things that do not matter. They do not allow distractions to pull them away from their goals. They do not fall into the trap of working hard without working smart. Every move they make is intentional. Every decision they make is designed to push them forward. So the question is, are you working on the right things? Are you spending your time on high-impact activities? Are you focusing your energy on the things that will actually create change? Or are you caught in the cycle of busyness, doing things that make you feel like you're working, but do not actually produce results? Success is not about doing more, it's about doing what matters. It's about identifying the few actions that create the biggest impact. It's about eliminating the things that waste time, drain energy, and keep you stuck in place. It's about simplifying your focus so that every hour of effort moves you toward your full potential. And that requires clarity, because if you are not clear on your priorities, everything will seem important. If you do not know exactly what you are working toward, you will get pulled in 1,000 different directions. If you do not decide what matters most, other people will decide for you. So what are your priorities? What is the single most important thing you should be focused on? What is the one action that will move you forward faster than anything else? And are you giving that action the time, energy, and attention it deserves? Because the truth is, most people do not fail because they lack ability. They fail because they lack focus. They spread themselves too thin. They chase too many things at once. They jump from one idea to another, never sticking with anything long enough to master it. And because of that, they never reach their full potential. But when you focus, when you commit fully to one direction, one skill, one goal, everything changes. Because focus creates mastery. Focus builds momentum. Focus allows you to break through barriers that scatterbrained effort never will. And once you master focus, the next step is consistency. Because it is not about what you do once in a while. It is about what you do every single day. Consistency is what separates the elite from the average. It is what determines whether or not you actually reach your full potential. Most people start strong but fade. They get excited about a goal, they put in effort for a few weeks, but then life gets in the way. They get distracted, they get discouraged, they slow down, they stop, and they never build the momentum that creates real transformation. But high achievers, they do not stop. They do not let distractions pull them away. They do not allow setbacks to throw them off course. They keep going, every day, no matter what, even when they do not feel like it, even when it is hard, even when no one else is watching. Because they understand that consistency is the secret to mastery. They understand that showing up every day compounds over time. They understand that success is not built in a single moment. It is built in the small, repeated actions that stack on top of each other, creating unstoppable progress. And this is where most people struggle. They are good at starting. They are good at taking action when they feel inspired. But they are not good at staying the course. They are not good at doing the work when motivation fades. They're not good at sticking with something long enough to break through to the next level. But the people who unleash their full potential, they do not operate based on feelings. They operate based on commitment. They execute whether they feel like it or not. They show up every day, not because it is easy, not because they're in the mood, but because that is who they have decided to be. And when you operate this way, everything shifts. You stop making excuses. You stop looking for shortcuts. You stop waiting for motivation. You do the work day after day. And because of that, you grow. You improve. You evolve. And before you know it, you have unlocked levels of ability that you never even knew existed. Because the longer you stay consistent, the more of your potential you reveal. It is not something that appears all at once. It unfolds over time. It is unlocked layer by layer, skill by skill, effort by effort. And the only way to reach the deepest levels of your potential is to keep going long after everyone else has quit. So ask yourself, are you willing to stay the course? Are you willing to commit for the long haul? Are you willing to be relentless, to be consistent, to keep showing up no matter what? Because that is what it takes. There is no shortcut. There is no quick fix. There is only the work. And the people who are willing to do the work, day after day, without stopping, without making excuses, are the ones who rise to the highest levels. They are the ones who unleash every ounce of their potential. Consistency builds momentum, but momentum alone is not enough. Because even with the right habits, even with daily discipline, even with continuous effort, there will be obstacles. There will be resistance. There will be moments when everything in you wants to stop. And that is why you must develop resilience. Resilience is what separates the people who achieve their full potential from the people who give up too soon. It is the ability to keep moving forward when the path is unclear. It is the ability to stay strong when everything around you feels like it is falling apart. It is the ability to keep pushing, even when you are exhausted, even when you are frustrated, even when progress seems invisible. Most people quit too soon. They start strong, they work hard, but the moment they hit real resistance, they slow down. They second-guess themselves. They start looking for an easier way. And if they do not see results fast enough, they walk away completely. But the people who unleash their full potential, they do not stop. They do not slow down when things get tough. They speed up. They do not let doubt control them. They control their doubt. They do not run from adversity. They lean into it. Because they understand that resistance is part of the process. They know that every challenge, every setback, every failure is shaping them, strengthening them, preparing them for the next level. They know that the only way to develop real power is to go through real struggle. And this is what most people never understand. They think success should be easy. They think progress should be smooth. They think growth should come without pain. But growth is painful. Growth is uncomfortable. Growth requires breaking through walls that most people are not willing to push through. So the question is, how do you handle adversity? Do you let it break you? Do you let it slow you down? Do you let it make you doubt yourself? Or do you use it as fuel? Do you use it as proof that you are moving in the right direction? Do you use it as an opportunity to get stronger? Because adversity is a test. Every setback, every challenge, every obstacle, it is all testing you. It is asking you one question. How bad do you really want it? And most people do not want it badly enough. Most people fold under pressure. Most people allow temporary struggle to define them permanently. But you are not most people. If you were, you would not be here right now. You would not be seeking growth. You would not be searching for ways to push past your limits. You would not be looking for the tools to unlock your full potential. And that means you have a choice. You can keep letting challenges stop you. You can keep letting resistance slow you down. You can keep allowing adversity to define what is possible for you. Or you can decide right now that nothing will break you, nothing will stop you, nothing will be stronger than your will to succeed. Because that is what resilience is. It is the decision to keep going, the decision to push forward no matter what, the decision to trust yourself even when things do not make sense. And once you make that decision, nothing can stand in your way. Resilience is not just about bouncing back. It is about rising higher. It is about using every failure as a lesson. It is about turning every mistake into an advantage. It is about becoming more because of what you go through, not less. And this is where most people get stuck. They experience failure, and instead of learning from it, they let it define them. They take it personally. They make it mean something about who they are. But failure is not personal. Failure is data. It is feedback. It is information about what works and what does not. The most successful people fail more than anyone else. Not because they are less skilled, not because they are less intelligent, but because they take more risks. They put themselves in situations where failure is possible. And because they fail more, they learn more. Because they learn more, they grow more. And because they grow more, they achieve more. But none of that is possible without resilience. None of that happens if you do not have the mental toughness to keep going. Because without resilience, every challenge will feel like the end. Every setback will feel permanent. Every difficulty will feel like proof that you are not capable. But with resilience, every challenge becomes an opportunity. Every failure becomes a stepping stone. Every setback becomes a setup for a comeback. And every moment of struggle becomes part of your transformation. So ask yourself, how resilient are you? When things get hard, do you push forward or do you pull back? When you hit an obstacle, do you look for a way around it or do you stop? When you experience failure, do you let it define you or do you use it to refine you? Because resilience is a choice, and the people who choose resilience every single day, in every single moment, are the people who unleash their full potential. They are the people who rise to the highest level. They are the people who cannot be stopped. Resilience keeps you in the game. But resilience alone does not unlock your full potential. Because beyond resilience, beyond persistence, beyond discipline, there is another level. A level where you are not just surviving challenges, but thriving in them. A level where you are not just moving forward, but accelerating. A level where you are not just trying to succeed, but demanding success from yourself. And that level is about identity. Because at the core of everything you do, your habits, your discipline, your resilience, is the way you see yourself. Your identity is the foundation. It is the source of all your decisions, all your actions, all your behaviors. And until you change the way you see yourself, you will always struggle to reach the next level. Most people never unleash their full potential because they are operating with an outdated identity. They see themselves as the person they have always been, not the person they are capable of becoming. They define themselves by their past mistakes instead of their future possibilities. They hold on to old labels, old doubts, old limitations, because that is what feels familiar. But here is the truth. Your identity is not fixed. It is not permanent. It is not something you were born with. It is something you create. It is something you choose. And the moment you realize that, you take control of your entire life. Because when you change the way you see yourself, you change everything. You change what you expect from yourself. You change the standards you hold yourself to. You change the level at which you operate. Because once you believe you are capable of more, you demand more from yourself. And this is what separates the elite from the average. The people who truly unleash their full potential do not just work harder. They do not just push through challenges. They do not just stay consistent. They transform themselves at the core level. They upgrade their identity. They step into a new version of themselves, one that is unstoppable, one that does not accept excuses, one that does not tolerate anything less than excellence. And this is not about pretending. It is not about faking confidence. It is about embodying the next level of yourself before you fully become it. It is about acting like the person you want to be now, not waiting until you feel ready. Because if you keep waiting until you feel like that next level version of yourself, you will wait forever. You do not become confident first and then take action. You take action first, and then confidence follows. You do not become disciplined first and then show up every day. You show up every day, and then discipline follows. You do not become the best version of yourself and then start acting like it. You start acting like it now, and then you become it. This is the key. This is the shift that unlocks everything. The moment you decide that you are already the person you want to become, everything changes. The moment you stop waiting and start being, you unleash a level of power that you never knew existed. But most people never do this. They hold on to their old identity. They stay attached to the version of themselves that is comfortable, familiar, safe. They do not want to let go of the past because the past is what they know. But if you want to reach your full potential, you must let go of who you were so you can step into who you are meant to be. So who are you? How do you see yourself? What story are you telling yourself about who you are and what you are capable of? And is that story serving you, or is it keeping you small? Because the most dangerous limitations are not external. The most dangerous limitations are the ones you place on yourself, the ones you believe without questioning, the ones you accept as truth when they are nothing more than old stories, old fears, old patterns that no longer serve you. And you do not have to carry those stories anymore. You do not have to hold on to those limitations anymore. You can make a new decision, a decision to see yourself differently, a decision to step into your power fully, a decision to unleash every ounce of potential that has been locked inside you for too long. And that decision is yours alone. No one can make it for you. No one can give you permission. No one is going to show up and tell you that now is the time. You must choose. You must decide. You must take ownership of your growth, of your power, of your future. Because once you do, there is no turning back. Once you see yourself as capable of more, you must demand more from yourself. Once you realize that you have been operating at a fraction of your potential, you must push yourself harder. Once you understand that the only thing standing between you and your full potential is the decision to step into it, you must take that step. And when you do, when you fully embrace this new version of yourself, when you fully commit to the highest level of excellence, when you refuse to accept anything less than the absolute best from yourself, you will see what you're truly capable of. Because this is not about external success. This is not about proving anything to anyone else. This is about you. This is about looking in the mirror and knowing without a doubt that you gave everything. That you did not hold back. That you did not settle. That you did not let fear or doubt or excuses keep you from becoming everything you were meant to be. And that is what unleashing your potential really means. It is not about reaching a destination. It is not about hitting a goal and then stopping. It is about stepping fully into your power. It is about living at your highest level every day without compromise. Because once you do that, once you truly commit, once you truly embrace the identity of the person you were born to be, nothing can stop you. Nothing can shake you. Nothing can take away the fire, the drive, the force of nature that you have become. Unleashing your potential is not about chance. It is not about waiting. It is not about hoping that one day you will wake up and suddenly feel ready. It is about deciding right now that you will no longer operate below your capabilities. Because this is your life, and no one is coming to push you forward. No one is going to pull your potential out of you. No one is going to force you to rise to the next level. It is your responsibility, your choice, your decision. You can keep playing small. You can keep waiting. You can keep making excuses for why now is not the time, why you are not ready, why you need more information, more experience, more certainty before you take action. Or you can step up. You can commit fully. You can stop thinking and start being. Because once you make that shift, once you decide that you are the person who takes action, the person who is disciplined, the person who is resilient, the person who is focused, everything changes. You no longer have to force progress. You no longer have to fight yourself. You simply become the person who does what is necessary to succeed. And that is the real key to unleashing your potential. It is not about doing more. It is about becoming more. It is about stepping into the version of yourself who operates at the highest level, without hesitation, without doubt, without compromise. Because once you become that person, success follows automatically. Growth follows automatically. Excellence follows automatically. You no longer have to chase results. Results chase you. Because your habits, your standards, your focus, and your identity are all aligned with the highest level of performance. But none of this happens unless you make the decision. The decision to stop waiting and start acting. The decision to stop hesitating and start trusting yourself. The decision to stop thinking about what you could be and start being that person now. Because there is no right time. There is no perfect moment. There is only now. And every second you wait, every second you delay, every second you allow fear or doubt to control you, you are losing time that you will never get back. So what are you going to do? Are you going to keep living at half your potential? Are you going to keep telling yourself that one day you will commit fully? Or are you going to take control? Are you going to break every limit that has held you back? Are you going to step into your power fully, completely, with zero hesitation? Because the people who win in life, the people who create impact, the people who operate at the highest level, the people who leave a legacy, they are not the ones who waited. They are not the ones who hesitated. They are the ones who decided, and that decision made all the difference. And now, it is your turn. This is your moment. This is your time. The only question is, will you take it?